Not too long ago, I did a demo review of Death of a Wish, which is an action RPG with a very unique art style, and it is a sequel to Luca Born of a Dream, which I mentioned in one of my previous Switch Hidden Gem videos that you should go check out. And now, thank you to the good folks at Melessthanthree and publishers Syndicate Atomic, because they hook your boy up with a review code. So now I can talk about my full experience with Death of a Wish. Now, off top, the first thing you are going to notice about this game is this art style. For some, it might be a little off-putting, might be a little jarring, but I, for one, enjoy the art style because it's just a style that I don't really see that often. It's like this animated sketchbook kind of style, just mixed in with some dreariness and some darkness and some dread for good measure. But in a weird way, it kind of fits the tone of the game because the story and the themes they touch on are pretty dark. Now, in Death of a Wish, you play as Christian, who's trying to take down a religious cult that raised him, and he's got 4 specific targets in mind, and he's trying to take them down so he can bring about the end of the sanctum. And much like the first game, Death of a Wish, like I said, it's pretty heavy thematically. It deals with things like religion, rejection, acceptance, revenge, friendship, and death. It's a lot of dying to go around these parts, and these themes play out on screen through various texts that is a lot of times really in your face, and just dialogue sequences, conversations that you'll be having with characters that you meet throughout the world that you'll be adventuring in. And I'd be lying if I said I completely understood the story, but like for the most part, from what I understand, I'm liking what it has to offer. Is interesting. The characters are interesting, and it did a good job of just keeping me invested in what was happening in the world that I was in. Now, to talk about my favorite part of the game, and probably the most important part, is the gameplay, specifically fighting, throwing hands, the combat. And I can happily say Death of a Wish really nailed this. They took the formula from Luca Born of a Dream, and I feel like they made it even better. This combat is fun. It is challenging. It can be brutal. This game can be a little tough, but they give you the tools you need to make it happen. The combat is fluid and responsive. You got a basic, light, heavy, and charge attack. You also have a parry, which you will definitely need to get good at, and a dodge. And the main system with the combat is this Arya system. Now, Arya's kind of affect how Christian fights in terms of the combos that he pulls off with his light and heavy attacks. And certain Aryas you can combine to create what's called a resonance. And these are Aryas that kind of have like a special synergy. So they give you like added effects, and they make the Arya stronger. And it kind of encourages you to really mix and match the Aryas and just kind of experiment. There's so much customization you can do with this combat. And in addition to the Aryas, you also have what are called prayer cards. And these are additional items that you can equip to the Aryas, and they just kind of give them additional passive effects. Think of just things like maybe extending the range of your attack, and things like that. And you'll find a bunch of these throughout the game. So, make sure you explore, make sure you look through every corner that you can get to, because you want to find everything. But just keep in mind with those prayer cards, you can only equip 2 of those at a time. So you just got to mix and match and kind of see what pairing really works for you. And like I said, man, exploration is your friend. While you're going through this devious landscape, fighting a bunch of enemies, you'll be finding additional items. They have these items called virtues, which are basically like bonus perks that Christians get. And you also have memories, and the memories not only help kind of flesh out more of the story, but they can also be exchanged for goods with this random little merchant kind of guy who just inexplicably just sits on the floor in random areas, but he's out and about. You can also find health, which literally does grow in trees, but you don't find a lot of it, so use it sparingly. And you can find rewinds, which is a mechanic I forgot to mention. The rewinds you can use to turn back the clock a little bit. If you find yourself getting curb stomped in a fight, you can just rewind and go back to the beginning of the fight if you have enough rewinds available. But listen, don't get stomped out too much, because you got to worry about this corruption meter that is in the upper right hand corner of the screen. Now, the corruption meter rises throughout the game, when it's going up kind of a slow and steady pace. And you can help lower the meter if you finish off fights with style, if you finish them with grace, if you fight beautifully, as this game puts it. You get graded on your performances after each encounter, and the better grade you get, the more corruption you can knock off of the meter. It's a pretty fair and balanced system, and I think you'll be able to navigate it as long as you're competent with the combat and you're taking time to level up your attributes as you hit the checkpoints throughout the game, because you also do get to level up your attributes. Those are kind of like the RPG elements, and really I don't have much bad to say about this game. Death of a Wish really nailed pretty much everything I would want from an action RPG, but I do have some complaints, and some of these are like personal cardinal sins for me, and it hurt my heart to do this, but I have to be honest with this review. Some of these did happen near end game, and I'm not going to spoil the story. These are more so gameplay choices that kind of happened towards end game that I no didn't like it. They kind of put me off. But like I said, I'll be vague to not spoil anything. One of the downfalls, I think, of the art style of Luca is the way they do the map. The map is kind of drawn in that same doodle style, that cartoon style. And while, you know, it makes sense in the context of the game, I did find myself at points toward the end game being really lost and feeling like I was just wasting a lot of time just running around. I wish the map maybe had markers, or if there were mission objective pointers, map key, just something to tell me exactly where I was supposed to be going, because I felt like towards the end of the game, and I didn't finish it, I'm about 12 hours in and I'm right at the end, but I wasted so much time just running around, and it started to get really frustrating. And another thing that I hate when games do this, and this applies to any game I play, I do not like when you spend the entire game, you're leveling up your character, you're doing what you're supposed to do, getting your attributes up, you know, you're getting good out here, you're getting these attributes the way they need to be, and then I get to the end of the game, and y'all start taking stuff away from me, and it's like, hey, no, no, I will never get on board with that. And in the context of the story, which I won't talk about, it made sense. I understand it, but no, I'm sorry, you'll never get me to be on board with that. No. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe it's a bit of a skill issue. Maybe I could be playing better. I'm always open to being wrong. But the last part of this game is irking my soul so much, just because of some of the gameplay choices that they chose to make, and also what happens after you hit the 100% corruption, which I'm not gonna mention it. But I don't know, man. Some of the end of this felt kind of cheap, and I don't mind a game with challenge. Anybody who knows me, I don't mind a game that fights back. I don't mind that at all. But what I don't like is that it's only a challenge because I feel like y'all are just stripping me of things that I worked for. I spent the whole game working for these things, and now y'all are taking things away from me. You're putting me in these absurdly long fights without there's no health anywhere. Like, I don't know. The end of this game left a really sour taste in my mouth. Well, I'm not at the end yet. I'm almost there. But I don't. The end of this game really rubbed me the wrong way. My pride is gonna make me go back and finish it, because I know that I'm right at the end. So I'm gonna tough it out and try to make it through. But it's messing up the landing, and I hate when the landing doesn't stick. And right now the landing ain't sticking for me, but I'm gonna try to get through it. But it is don't take away my stuff, man. Don't do that. But all in all, man, Death of a Wish is a really solid action RPG. Love the customization options for the combat, the presentation, the story is interesting, this haunting atmosphere. It does a lot to make itself stand out, and even with my gripes that I do have, I do think this game is worth your time, and you should definitely check it out. So put it on your Steam wish list and buy it when it comes out on March 11th. That is all I got for today's video. My name is Serial Sensei. Y'all stay safe, y'all stay hydrated, and I will see y'all on the next video. Hey, y'all got like a rest area down here? Y'all do that? Whoa, hold up, bro. I just pulled up. Bro, y'all ain't even let me step in the room, bro.